welcome back to the 90% podcast. We're here, episode 11. Can't believe we made it this far. On my right, we got Tyler Matthews, a regular, and then on the left, someone new, Mike from UbrZati.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let's get it.
All right, before we get into today's topics, just want to remind everybody, please follow us on social media, Instagram, 90% podcast, and Fast Phenom Training. So
You're
Tyler,
better. You're better than me at plugging the socials. I always forget when I'm the host.
That's why I'm the host today.
Exactly.
All right, so Tyler, where are we right now?
We're here at UbrZati.
What is UbrZati?
Good place to be. So pretty much we're a sports performance facility. Our real focus is kind of high-speed training. You know, we do a little bit of everything. Like I was telling Tyler before, it's like we have speed protocols with the treads. A lot of people that have seen us on social media, they know us for the treads. We do a ground-based training, which is more of your agility work, and then we have strength training as well. So it's pretty much just your all-around sports performance facility.
Awesome. And like, how long have you guys been here doing this?
So this spot, we've been here for about 2 years. We had another facility for about a year and a half before coming down here because we just blew up, started growing, and had to get a bigger spot.
Okay, so you say business is booming then?
Business is booming.
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. And then so, a lot of gyms, they were hit by COVID, but you guys still kind of, you weathered through that storm?
Yeah, so we kind of flew under the radar a little bit. I don't know if this can get us in trouble later or not, but so we stayed open during COVID because we found it super important that kids had to do something to do.
Got to.
So we just made it so every single family kind of had their own time slot. So kids would come in, family would come in, 30 minutes, wipe down all the equipment, keep it super clean, get them out, next family comes in, keep them busy.
Awesome. What am I gonna say? It's like, I want to kind of start with you and kind of who you are. So can you kind of tell our viewers kind of maybe a little bit about your background, how you got into all this cool training stuff and all that?
Yeah. So my dad actually loves to tell this story because I did not do anything fitness related up until college.
Oh, no
Really?
way.
Yeah,
That's rare in this industry.
He played college baseball, so he would all the time be like, "Mike, you gotta lift, you gotta run, you gotta train." I'm like, Dad, I'm a good athlete already. I think I touched rim for the first time in 8th grade. I was already fast. I could, hit home runs. I was like, I don't need to train, Dad. And of course, you're that kid. It's like, what's my dad know?
Exactly.
Then,
pretty much every kid, right?
So I ended up going college ball, D2 school first I went to, and all of a sudden it went from metal bat to wood bat. I don't know if you guys know that difference, but it's quite a difference. You get it hitting doubles off the wall with a metal bat, to all of a sudden you're hitting with a piece of wood. You're like, flare single. So I quickly learned that I was the weakest guy on the team.
Wow.
And it was total shock to me.
The dad light bulb went off.
It was
Time to start training.
Man, too late.
You heard his voice in the back of your head.
So then I noticed the strongest guys on the team, Wayne, Zach, JD, I was like, that's who I have to be like. So I would start going to the gym with them. They kind of took me under their wing per se and kind of taught me the fitness, kind of what fitness was. I had never touched a bench press, never squatted, nothing. So they got me in there, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the gym. You couldn't keep me out of there. I was in there 2 days, 2 times a day sometimes.
Wow.
And so then that first school, I actually was doing sports management, more of a business side. Once I fell in love with fitness, I was like, I got to do something with this. Business isn't going to cut it. So I ended up transferring, went to a school in North Carolina Wesleyan, went to exercise science, where I really got that background. I had 2 really good professors that really challenged me. Dr. McGall, Dr. Thomas, they really pushed me in the exercise science field. And I loved it, man, because it was just stuff you could apply instantly, not even to other people, but to yourself. It was you take your nutrition class, you take your programming class, stuff like that.
What school was that at, did you say?
North Carolina Wesleyan.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So then after that, I went and Dr. McGall said, hey, look, you're good at this. This is what you should be doing. Try to get to UCF. So I was like, okay. So I went and applied to UCF, got into the master's program there. I interned a little bit as a strength coach there, and that was where my mind was kind of set in, was hey, I want to be a collegiate strength coach. I want to train athletes. I want to train the big dogs. But one good thing about interning is you learn very quickly what you don't like and what you do like, and I didn't like it.
Training the collegiate athletes?
Yeah, so it wasn't more of training them, it was the hours and the pay.
The lifestyle.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't look at that.
Put in to do what you love doing. And I was just like, man, this isn't it either.
Because everyone, I mean, some people out there might know like what a college level athlete's schedule is like. So you pretty much have a similar schedule than I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's
just
sometimes
all
you're
day.
there at 5 a.m. and you're
Yeah.
there till 9 p.m. It's just long day, and that wasn't for
Yeah.
me. I love, training athletes is phenomenal, but I was like, that's not the way I want to go. So I graduated with my master's degree in exercise science. I kind of bounced around gyms, just doing personal training, general fitness stuff. Same thing, wasn't really my gig. And I was working at a country club in Vero. Same thing, I was general fitness for older populations. That's when I was like, all right, like I gotta train athletes. Like I gotta switch this up real quick.
The geriatrics wasn't cut.
Yeah, it wasn't it. So I had actually, I was living in Melbourne, so I was just emailing kind of local facilities and being like, hey, do you need a strength coach? Do you need a strength coach? Do you need a strength coach? An Upper Deck baseball facility, like, right up the road from here. He got back to me and was like, hey, we'd love to have you on board. And I was just going to do it for a summer because working at that country club, it was all snowbirds, so I didn't have to work during the summer. So I was like, let me just do it for fun, see what it's like. And immediately I was like, this is it. It's a private facility, kind of make my own hours, training athletes. I was like, this is the spot. So I was doing that for about 2 years, doing all the speed and agility for Upper Deck baseball. And that's where I ended up meeting Tim, UbrZati's current owner. He was like, hey, like, I love what you do, but we have this idea, like, to build on what you're already doing. And that was the treadmills. So he came to me, showed me the protocols. I ran them, puked my brains out the first day in Dario's garage. And I was like, this is awesome. This is great. So yeah, then we just kind of put the treads in there, and it just grew. And that's how it's been.
Now
going
you're
since.
here.
Now we're here.
And it's kind of like you kind of had like a lot of just word of mouth and or kind of organic growth, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the craziest thing about UbrZati is you'll never hear a commercial, see a commercial. We don't do any advertising in places. It's all just we got an athlete in, they loved it, they told all the teammates. Or a parent was like, hey, your kid looks way faster. Like, what's he been doing? Oh, he's been going to UbrZati. So even still today, we don't really do any marketing. Like, we have our social media and stuff like that. But there's no real, we don't go out and do any marketing. It's just word of mouth, and that's the best way, in my opinion. If
No,
an
it
athlete,
is, for
if an athlete
sure.
can go out and say, this is where you got to go,
Yeah.
that's way bigger than me putting a piece of paper and saying, hey, come try this out.
100%. I tell trainers that all the time because if you get a referral, it's like almost a 100% guaranteed lead because it's like if I tell you to go to a restaurant, you're automatically gonna. If you like me, right? You're gonna.
I don't know.
If you like me and you trust me, you're gonna associate. Oh wait, I like that guy, so I'm probably gonna like the restaurant if he already recommended it. So whether the restaurant is that good or not, you already have the belief that it's gonna be good. So by getting people to refer their friends are coming in already thinking this is gonna be good. Which if you think it's gonna be good, it's probably gonna be good. Where if you think it's gonna be bad, then it's gonna be bad. So.
But the product still has to be good though, right?
Yeah.
It can't just be like all the social media stuff. So like, what makes maybe UbrZati the way you think you guys do things here? What would makes it different than other places?
So I think really the biggest thing for us is how science-based we are. It's not just kind of bring kids in and say, hey, this is what we're going to do today. I made this up on my way. I wrote it on this piece of paper. It's okay. If you're on the treadmills, we have an 8-week periodized protocol that you're going to run through. It's spelled out. We have tons of, I have 3 years of data on my laptop of here's kids improving from day one. So the science behind it's really the biggest thing, and we do periodized for everything. So even our ground-based program, it flows in with our treadmill program. So if we're working on acceleration on the treadmills, you're also going to work acceleration on your ground-based training. And then same with our strength training. It's all periodized. It's 8 to 12-week programs that we really run through.
Awesome. And so like the people who come here, like what are they typically looking for, and like what are they doing?
So I mean, pretty much everyone comes to us to just be better at their sport.
Just kind of overall.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, I call it sport-specific training, but it's not. People get in their mindset. It's like, oh, they're going to do quarterback training for me. It's like, no.
Gotcha.
Like every athlete needs to be faster, jump higher, stronger,
Things
more
that
explosive.
translate into everything.
Yeah, it'll just translate to everything. So that's usually when they come in. Is like, hey, I want to get better. I've seen so and so training here, and they're faster, they're stronger, they're getting these college offers. Like, what do I need to do to get to the next level? This is where I got to go.
Gotcha.
Do you guys change things up from sport to sport, or is it pretty much the same protocol regardless of sport?
So that's kind of the cool thing, like when we get the team training. So we do a lot of team training where say we get Vieira basketball in here.
I've seen them in here recently.
Their training protocols is going to be a little different than just the general class that comes in. So we're going to do a lot more Vertimax stuff with them. We're going to do a lot of lateral work. We're going to do a lot of single leg plyometrics, everything like that. So we can, when it's a team, it's a group, okay, this is all basketball kids, we can tailor it specific to that.
So kind of speaking to that, a lot of the guests that we have on here, come from the basketball world. Could you, for anyone, any basketball players out there, could you, kind of give them any insights onto maybe some areas that they should be working on in terms of, their fitness and their athleticism?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the whole, conditioning, we'll use that word, is one of those misconstrued things in a lot of areas. They look at a basketball game and say, ooh, man, they're going for 12 minutes quarters every single time. Let's go run some miles, run some distance. Let's think about that for a second. What does a basketball play look like? Are you ever just jogging back and forth nonstop? It's no, not really.
It's
You're doing hard 6-second sprint to the end of the court.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I got to get back. Oh, shoot, turnover, got to get back. So they have to do a lot more of that sprint training as opposed to cardio. And that's the one cool thing about what we do here. So you have the aerobic system. So aerobic's going to be more of your light jog. I'm going to go run a mile. Anaerobic's going to be more of your short duration sprint stuff. So you can actually get anaerobic benefits or aerobic benefits from training anaerobically.
Gotcha.
Doesn't work the other way. If you go and run a mile, you're not going to get that anaerobic system explosiveness whatsoever.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. Cool. And so I don't think it's on camera, but we see something secret over here. Are we allowed to talk about
sauce.
that? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, people have seen it. So he's pointing out the Z treads. So we've just actually started manufacturing our own treadmills, which is awesome. We outsourced before, but our social media people would hit us up and be like, "Hey, where'd you get that treadmill? Where'd you get that treadmill?" And we were just like, "Why don't we just make our own?" We've got awesome owners that can do things like that. Our owners literally designed that treadmill. Comes with the software. I'm going to say now it's going to be the best on the market. It's going to beat every competitor. It's got a non-motorized, so you can do sprints on it. Goes up to 40% incline, 31 miles an hour.
Did they build it locally, or did they outsource
locally.
the building? Oh, wow.
Yeah, shout out to Brian. I don't know how his wife does it, but we build them in his garage.
Nice.
All the software, everything.
Let's go.
So what kind of testing goes into making something like that? Like how long has something like this been in the works?
Probably a little over a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Just the software obviously is the hardest part. Getting someone to get in and do all that stuff, but then figuring out we had multiple prototypes in here where we learned on this metal's too soft, it doesn't work. This metal's too hard. This is too loud. Just little things like that, and you got to tinker with it and figure it out. But now we have final products.
Yeah. So what is something like this going to offer athletes that come here more than what the kind of stuff you already guys have?
So it's almost just there's more of a convenience to it. So if you were to look at the screens on there, the old ones don't have our training program on there.
Gotcha.
The new ones do. So that's going to be a convenience factor. It's going to automatically go up and down. We're going to eventually get the software where it can track all data. Okay. So it'll track every single run. We'll put a lineup in there of, okay, you got James, John, Mark. These are the people running. It'll track every single run. Okay, he ran this one at 9 miles an hour. He ran this one at 10. And so next time they come in, it'll know exactly where to start them.
So do you or athletes have access to that?
Yeah, there's going to be a cloud. It's going to be a magic cloud. You know how that works.
Yeah.
It'll all go into a cloud, and eventually when we have treadmills and other facilities, there will be a big central cloud where athletes across the world, all their data will just be in one spot where college coaches can go look at it. You can get some scouts that go in and say, all right, let me see who's at UbrZati's got the biggest vert. Let me see who's got the best broad jump, best 40. So they'll just have access to all that.
That's awesome. And so you say you're really science and data driven. How important is it for athletes to be keeping track of that? I'm sure a lot of people are just going to the gym on their own and just kind of just winging it and kind of doing whatever. How important is it to keep track of exactly what you're doing?
Data's huge. You got to think, if you're not tracking it, you might just be on this constant cycle of spinning wheels.
Yeah.
If you've been doing the same thing for 5 weeks, you haven't progressed anything at all. Your body's like, this isn't anything new. I can do this all day. This is nothing.
Yeah.
So as long as you're changing something, you can talk about weight training. So every week if you're not adding weight to your bench press, you're never going to see it go up. So you have to know, okay, last week I did 135. Let me do 140 this week. Doesn't have to be crazy, but just make some sort of change to the system that it shocks it and says, okay, let me adjust, let me adapt, let me grow.
Awesome.
I want to make a note on that. Athletes or parents, if you're listening, well, number one, I think I say this every episode, take notes on everything, every episode, because there's little nuggets that you can learn. But what he just said pretty much is, what I heard at least, is it's easy to get into a cycle of doing the same thing over and over again. And you got to be able to break that cycle. And I'm more relating this to life, right? Obviously, you were talking about sports and performance and increasing your strength and stuff like that. You want to change something up, right? Either whether it's the reps, the sets, the exercise, right, to make progress. Same thing in life, I think, is a lot of people get stuck in these cycles where they don't make a conscious decision, okay, let me change this or let me make this better, right? And so by tracking it and measuring it, you're able to be aware. And when you can measure it, you can manage it. And when you can manage it, you can grow it, right? So I think that's huge right there.
Awesome. What am I going to say? So if people are, I don't know, interested, they like what they're hearing about UbrZati, like, well, what's like the first step that someone could do to like come here and train?
Give us a call. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it is give us a call. We can set up a meeting with you, come in, show you the facility, run you through, we almost like a demo day where we say, hey, this is what it's going to look like. Hop on a treadmill, give it a whirl. I mean, I think I did that with Tyler the first time.
Oh, yeah.
He was interested in training. I was like, get on it. That's the only way you're going to know if you like it. Get on it.
And he smashed all the records, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the leaderboard every category except for one.
All right, cool. Yeah, and we'll have all of his information down in the description of either the show notes or the YouTube video. So keep an eye out there. Tyler, is there anything?
One question I have, Mike, is do you guys have a difference between how you train, let's say, a 6 or an 8-year-old, or what's the youngest you guys go? Do you guys go that young or no?
So we don't really do it by age limit. It's more of ability limit. If we get a kid in and we see that like mentally he's not able to like kind of work
mature
in a
enough
area, we'll actually take them and promote them to like do one-on-one training, like get with a coach where they can kind of hone you in, work on those basic fundamental skills. So we don't really do an age limit per se. But we've just developed a level 0 is what we call it. Mm-hmm. So that's when you get the younger kids in who may have never even been taught like opposite arm, opposite leg running stuff.
Yeah.
So that's when we'll get them in. We'll start, the baseline stuff. Let's learn how to jump. Let's learn how to do a wall sprint. Just things like that. So that's how we really tailor it. And then with our running protocols, we have level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, and we actually are coming out with level 4, which we've been testing on Jay Sean Corbin, New York Giants running back. He's been getting crushed in here.
Nice.
So there's the
he's
level
a monster.
4. Yeah, he's an athlete, man.
Is he signed with them now?
Yeah.
That's what's up. I know he was kind of like on the practice roster or up and down,
he just
but
got brought up last season.
That's what's up. So my question was going to be, is there a difference between how you train like a 8-year-old and a pro athlete, for example? Or is it similar? But I guess you kind of just answered it with the levels,
so
right?
The levels is going to be the big thing. But, one thing that's super cool about this environment is you can have a pro running back running at the same time. Like right now, Jay Sean trains with 2 homeschool kids that are 14 and 13.
Uh-huh.
And they'll do the same running day, but you can tailor it. If, obviously Jay Sean's going to be running at 30%, 14 miles an hour. Those kids are, okay, you're going to run your 30%, but we're going to bring you back. You're going to do 9 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. So the kids love the atmosphere because they can look at the other guys and be like, I'm doing exactly what that guy's doing. Maybe it's slower, but that's a goal that I can reach for.
No, exactly. And that's what I think is huge with environments like this. I think when you can create something like that where you got the younger guys able to train with the older guys, they're able to pick up on stuff a lot faster. So that's huge. Sweet. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I think this has been a good episode so far.
Yeah, I think it's been good. For those of you who haven't stopped in, stop in. We're here. We're ready for you.
One question I have, let's say that you had to make a choice. Obviously, we don't have to choose, but I get questions like this all the time, like on my basketball side of like, we'll use training tools every once in a while. We might use like a cone or a footwork mat or something for accountability. And then there's people in the basketball community that either love training tools or they hate it, right? And then there's obviously people that are in between that understand that both have their benefits. So if you had to choose, let's say you have 6 months off season with an athlete and you can either only do running on the actual floor or running on the treadmill, which one would you choose?
That's a loaded question there, Tyler. I would say it depends on how much skill work they're doing on their own. Like let's take Jake, for example. He goes and trains with you.
Yeah.
So if I know for a fact he's doing tons of basketball work, tons of, stop and start there, I'm like, dude, you don't need that here. Like, I know you're getting a lot of that from your sport. You're hitting the treads. Because you're just going to build that explosiveness, top end speed. I mean, I've had guys at 4 inches of their vertical just running on the treadmill.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy, just from that.
No, the month that I did it, I felt like bouncy and light and everything like that.
So it really comes down to knowing what an athlete is getting from their sport practice, what their sport specific needs are, and then where we can kind of fill in with
supplement.
That
Yeah. Sweet. Good answer.
Awesome. Everyone sound good?
Yep, I think we're ready to wrap this up. One last thing, actually. We got to end with this. Do you know why we call it the 90% podcast, Mike?
Figured it was for the 90% mental.
Exactly. That
was my guess.
That's a good guess. So, do you guys do anything like, let's say, formally to address or work on the mental side of the game or of the sports, I should say?
So, I wouldn't say formal. The best way to do it is the treadmill. So for a fact, dude, these treadmills are hard. So we call it the dark place. That's when you get to where that day sucks. You're getting crushed. You have to learn how to flip your brain off and say, this doesn't suck and I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of our mental approach. And that's one of the biggest things we see in here is confidence in kids skyrocket. Just because they're like, I don't think I can do this run. This looks hard, blah, blah, blah. They finish it. It sucks, but they're like, I did it. Like, I made it.
And the next time that happens, they know
I can do it.
They know it was all in my head. It was all mental.
Yep.
Physically, they always had the ability. So that's what's up. Cool.
All right. As always, it's 90% mental. So that's a wrap on today's episode. We just want to thank you guys for watching and listening. We're gonna have a lot of cool guests coming up in the future. So subscribe, follow us on all the social medias to stay tuned. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Thank you.